All the time. I use Facebook and Twitter are probably my most used social networks.
I'm a Twitter guy.
Twitter?
Twitter.
I do not have Twitter, but I have Facebook.
Do you Facebook at all, or are you just primarily Twitter?
No, I do. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I've got them all.
I use Facebook and email mostly.
I use Facebook. In fact, I'm on Facebook pretty much whenever I'm on a computer.
You know I do. Somewhat begrudgingly. Facebook and things like that. I guess that's really it. Facebook, email, is that social networking?
My family lives all over the world, and so it's kind of been the way that we're all interconnected. So that's one of the main reasons why I check Facebook, just kind of to stay updated with them. But it's also if I have nothing else to do and I'm just like waiting around, then I just, open it up and just scroll through the news feed.
But mine, I usually just use it to keep up with friends to see what's going on. That's mainly my use for it. Yeah.
For me, I don't post as much on Facebook, but I just like to, Andrew, keep up with my friends. And if anybody had a special day, they post pictures, I want to like it because if I wasn't there, I wanted to be a part of it somehow.
I have a lot of friends from back home, so it's a good way to connect with them, just to see what they've been up to and what's going on in their lives currently. Facebook.
I use Facebook probably for 3 purposes. One, for entertainment. I mean, who doesn't want to spy on their friends and acquaintances from time to time and see what's going on in their lives. 2, to keep in contact with friends and family, so putting up pictures of my kids so his grandparents can see him, and just conversations about what's going on in people's lives. And then the third one, and this has been more in the last year or so, is using it for networking. In fact, my first book and a couple publications that I'm working on currently all began through conversations on Facebook with various other scholars.
I guess it's a good means to, in some way, keep in contact with people. It's kind of a fake communication. I'm not really actually interacting with them. I'm just seeing what they're doing. So in that sense, it's not a real communication, but I think, it's something. Like it's, allows me to keep in contact with people I otherwise would not.
I guess probably combined a couple of hours. I mean, and it's definitely sporadically, because since it's on my cell phone and I can only check, every once in a while whenever I'm out and about. But if I'm on my laptop, then maybe about an hour just focused maybe on it.
Probably for me less than an hour, maybe an hour at most.
I'd probably say 30 minutes, maybe, if that.
If I'm trying to procrastinate, then it can be maybe 2 hours a day on Facebook.
It's one of those things I don't know if I want to admit. I'm trying to think. Like I said, my Facebook's open whenever I'm on my computer, and lately I've been on my computer 6 or 8 hours a day probably, writing, and Facebook's always open when I'm sitting there. So I probably actually am using Facebook for up to a couple hours a day.
Most normally not that much. 10, 15 minutes or something, Sometimes more, but not.
I have it on my phone as an app. So during the day, I check it a lot during the day, but I'm never on it for more than a 5-minute span on my phone. So more it's just if I have nothing to do, it's like a way to kill time.
Yeah, kind of better than if you don't feel like playing a game or something like that, you just scroll through something real fast, see if there's anything interesting.
Sometimes when I'm more stressed, it'll become a problem because that's all I want to do is be on Facebook. But normally it's not really an issue because I know that I have other things that need to get done. So.
Yes, without a doubt, and so does my wife, and she's mentioned that more than once.
Not really. I have enough disdain for it that I think that helps.
I'm gonna say probably 50-50 right now, just because I do use my phone a lot when it comes to texting and stuff, but I mainly just text people who aren't close by to me, whereas the people who are close by to me, then mainly with them it's face-to-face communication.
I don't use Facebook as a way to communicate with my family as much. That's more face-to-face and texting. But for some of my high school friends I don't talk to as much as I should. I keep up with them through Facebook.
If I have a serious question that needs to be answered, I'd rather do it face-to-face, just so that I can see their reaction to the question and get a better read on what their answer is. But if it's not a huge deal and it's texting or Facebook.
A large percentage of my communication is via Facebook. I use it certainly more than phone or email. I think the only thing that would rival it would be actual face-to-face communication that I have with folks here on campus or at church with my wife. But otherwise, Facebook's certainly the way I communicate with anyone who's not in the same room with me.
I don't prefer to text even. Well, that's changed somewhat. I would much rather just call someone. But I realize this might be a little bit of an anomaly.
I think it ruins our communication, our face-to-face communication.
I think some people can sometimes put too much information on there.
Yes.
It becomes a little bit too personal. Yeah, and no one needs to be in all your business all the time. So yeah, it can get kind of weird.
Other than time management, not really. Yeah.
Can I say it's addictive as hell? Because I think that's the case. Social media is addictive, and it's really easy to create a personality in that world. And most of those interactions are easier. They're simpler because one can scroll down to the next status update if what one finds in the previous one is controversial or whatnot. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a mild form of Gnosticism. So we replace face-to-face interaction, this community, with this kind of a cheap substitute, and we think it's the same thing. So like if I send, a buddy of mine from college, if I just check out what he's doing on Facebook, then I haven't actually interacted with him. I've just looked at what he's doing. And I think I'm keeping up with him. I think I'm keeping up with, one of my buddies. Well, I'm not really. I'm not actually building a relationship with him. So it seems like, but I know what's going on in his life, or kind of. I sort of do. So I think it actually is a mild form of Gnosticism. I'm just a disembodied kind of a, I don't actually need to. That's kind of my sentiment. There's a huge downside to this, and I think we get to the point where we can't actually interact with other people. We can't actually talk to someone one-on-one. I've seen this in my own self somewhat when I was applying for different jobs and things. I remember there was one job I had to call the person, and I thought, I thought, gosh, can't I just email my resume? Why do I have to call this person? Can't I just, come on, can't I just send an email, Because it was much less invasive, but I realized that's... And so if this is me and I'm cynical about this thing, how much more for other people,
I think I would be annoyed, and even just a few months ago I probably would have been distraught, but now I think I would just be annoyed. And I would occupy my time with other computer activities, probably the work that I should be doing, writing and editing. That would prove to be more difficult because honestly I don't know how I would even get in touch with some of the people with whom I communicate on Facebook, mainly the folks that I do networking with regarding publishing and speaking opportunities. I don't know what I would do because I don't have their phone numbers. I'd be Googling a lot of email addresses, but I would probably be a better husband and a better father.
a good way to keep up and communicate with friends and family if used wisely.
Social networking is good, but also bad. It can be really good to, like he said, keep up with your friends, but it can also get in the way of more important things in life.
A good way to communicate and just stay updated with what's going on around the world.
Social networking is time consuming.
A mild form of Gnosticism.
A distraction.
I was gonna say, again, like, if used properly, I think it could be a great device for the church. It'd be a good way to make connections and get events and things like that out, the word out. I know churches who use Twitter and things like that to either just put up podcasts or just say, you know, hey, we've got this speaker coming, something like that. But it could very easily become a distraction.
It's a good way to keep people updated with what's happening and with programs in the church, and just making sure that people are connected to each other to build a better community.
Catch-22. It's potentially helpful for at least establishing relationships and for communicating, but most of those communications, those relationships are shallow, so it can also prove to be dangerous if it becomes a way for people to, becomes a substitute for actual in-person communication and community.
A mistaken means of communication. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it's a tool somehow, but